Great Northwoods to the Rock Mountain Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, the Bangor Police Department continues to look for a robbery suspect, releasing new footage in hopes of catching their guy. Plus, the state has a large heating assistance request backlog, with many people worried about how they'll heat their homes for the rest of the winter. And it's not just affecting people in California. Home insurance rates could be impacted across the nation due to extreme weather trends. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith and thank you for tuning in on this very chilly Friday morning. We do have a lot to get to this morning. There's a lot going on. So let's start off with a look at that chilly forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, happy Friday. We have a gale watch that is posted until 10 p.m. Saturday, so we'll see an upgrade in the future with gusty winds on the way that will cause the surf to get rather active. For now, not looking too bad. We have some clouds that are passing through, going from the west and going toward the east. These clouds will be breaking up later on today to reveal a good amount of sunshine. Let's zoom things out. The rest of the northeast not looking too bad. Again, we have clouds moving over the ocean now, and overall a little bit of snow across some parts of the northeast too, but for us, we will stay quiet today. So futurecast, overall a partly cloudy sky. Will watch for more clouds that will be on the way later on tonight. But for now, the winds not too bad. They'll stay rather calm today in the parts of tonight. But once we head towards tomorrow, gusty winds could reach up to around 25 to even 30 miles per hour at times. So for today, upper 20s on the way. Overall, a partly cloudy sky with the wind overall looking nice and calm. By tonight, we have 14 degrees, increasing clouds expected with that south wind at around 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have low 40s, mostly cloudy for most of the day. Rain and snow will be moving in late with that south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a lot of sunshine on the way with temperatures in the upper 20s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll have a look at that full 5-day forecast a little later on. Well, first thing this morning, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office says an elderly Newburgh man died when he accidentally became trapped in his shed and succumbed to the frigid conditions outside. In a Facebook post, the Sheriff's Office said the man was found yesterday evening after they responded to his Newburgh home for a report of a missing person. Family members told deputies they were not able to locate the 73-year-old man who lived in the home alone. The Sheriff's Office said nothing appeared out of the ordinary and the man's personal effects were still there, but there was evidence that the man may have been missing for several days. Deputies decided to search the property, including a small shed that had been built along the home. The Sheriff's Office says it appeared the man reached the shed to reach frozen pipes, but the shed door closed and latched, trapping him inside. Due to mobility issues, they say it appears the man was unable to get out of the shed or out from under the home. They're reminding people that with current outside conditions, it's very important to ask for help with heating or other home maintenance issues. In other news, a man from Gardner was killed on Thursday morning following a crash on Interstate 95. State police say a pickup truck driven by 69-year-old Philip Marson went off the road in Sydney and crashed into trees. Rescuers responded to the scene around 7 Thursday morning, but Marson had died at the scene. Troopers say excessive speed appears to have been a factor in the crash. Moving on now, a tractor-trailer crash on the Maine Turnpike snarled traffic on Thursday. According to the Department of Public Safety, two big rigs collided near exit 7 in York around 5:54 p.m. Officials say one of the trucks was a water tanker that ended up rolling over. It was driven by 64-year-old Larry Roberge of Waterboro. He was transported to a hospital with serious injuries. The other driver was a 40-year-old man from New Brunswick who was not hurt. The crash backed up traffic in the southbound lanes. The accident remains under investigation this morning. The Bangor Police Department has released new video of a robbery suspect. They say the suspect held up the Circle K at the intersection of Griffin Road and Broadway on Monday. Police hope someone will recognize the robber and give them a call. He's described as being a white male between 5 foot 8 inches and 6 foot 2 inches tall. He weighs between 250 and 300 pounds and was wearing a black mask, gray North Face sweatshirt, and possibly a black rain jacket underneath. He was also wearing gray gloves with possible texture on the palms. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Bangor Police Department. A mother is turning to the community to help her son and his fiancée after a catastrophic incident left them severely burned. Some viewers may find the images shown in this story upsetting. Viewer discretion is advised, and our Doug Banks has the story.
It's a mother's worst nightmare.
I always wait to get a knock on the door, and then when he called me.
On January 6th, Deborah Main's son Christopher and his fiancée Shauna were staying in a tent in Skowhegan when the state fire marshal's office says a faulty propane tank exploded.
He didn't have time to get her out of the tent. She froze. So he ripped the back of the tent open and drug her out and put her out because she was on fire.
Maines says they were quickly life-flighted to Maine Health Maine Medical Center in Portland to be treated for their severe burns.
His hair was all singed off, full of ash all over him. The tent was stuck to his hair and his body. And she was in the room next door. It looked like a war zone in there with all the bandages and stuff all over the floor. It was terrible. She was just screaming and screaming. She has burns all over her. And she just got diagnosed with breast cancer the day before, so she's dealing with a lot.
According to Maines, Christopher was the owner of New England Drywall until he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And for the past 6 months, he and his fiancée had been experiencing homelessness. Due to Maine's housing situation, they couldn't be together for extended periods of time.
There's so many homeless people out here, and a lot of them are not there because of drugs or this or that. They're out there because their life circumstances have led them to that. Christopher owned his own business, and then when he got sick with this schizophrenia, everything changed. I had actually had him here 13 days before this happened. The day I took him back, it happened.
Maines now looks to the community to help with expenses and lodging for her son while he stays in the Brackett House.
I would pray that the community would come forward, with anything to help at this point, and prayers are good too.
A link to the GoFundMe Maines created, as well as information on donations, can be found on this story on our website, foxbangor.com. In Skowhegan, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Emergency crews in Dexter helped to recover a snowmobile from a watery grave. Officials say a father and son had set out to go ice fishing on Tuesday when they broke through the ice. They were able to help each other from the icy water, but the snowmobile sank in Lake Wasukeg. Dexter firefighters, a diver, and workers from the water district all gathered on Thursday to remove the sled. Orange cones have been set up around the recovery holes in the ice to alert others about the danger. And officials say the owners of the sled will have to foot the bill for the cost of the recovery. This year, more than 70,000 Mainers applied for energy assistance, which will likely be a record number. The need has never been greater across the state, and with bitter cold temperatures, families are still waiting for help. Brad Rogers has more on the story.
It's a big help when I get the oil assistance.
Joni Jones lives in Lincoln County along with her son and 2 grandchildren, and every year she applies for heating oil help.
My only income is small Social Security, and so I apply for oil assist so the children don't get cold.
She says right now she's still waiting to learn when that help may arrive. Midcoast Maine Community Action in Bath administers energy assistance funds for Lincoln and Saginaw counties. They told me they're understaffed with a backlog of applications they're still trying to process. Same with Community Concepts serving Androscoggin and Oxford counties. Its communications manager told us we have received 7,156 applications so far this heating season and continue to prioritize emergency cases. This includes households with less than a quarter tank of oil, fewer than 7 days worth of firewood, or less than 20% of propane.
CAP agencies are pushing out $1 million a week. And still then, there are backlogs, but they're working hard and doing a great job.
This winter, Maine Housing will dole out more than $40 million of federal energy assistance to 13 community action agencies around the state who will distribute those funds.
That sounds like a lot of money. It really needs to be a lot more to meet the demand.
With her oil tank now below half and a bitter cold week ahead, Joni Jones told us she's starting to get worried.
Yeah, in this colder weather, it definitely makes the furnace work harder. So it does concern me. I want to make sure that we have enough to get through the season. They assure me you're not the only one. We are working as hard as we can, and I understand that.
Agencies tell us the need for heating oil assistance is as high as it's ever been. and they're doing their best to help everyone as quickly as they can.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. And the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a team of firefighters from Maine has joined the battle in California to help tame wildfires. To help tame raging wildfires. Excuse me. Wow, it definitely feels like Friday. We'll have the story coming up, but before we go, let's take another quick look at that forecast. Partly cloudy today. Highs are almost in the 30s, not quite though. Dropping down to a low of 14 overnight. Those clouds are increasing overnight because tomorrow we are likely to see a wintry mix. Rain and snow is likely later in the day. Highs will be around 40 degrees, so that is a plus at least. Just keep an eye out for that inclement weather. We'll be right back.
R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store. With delicious homemade food made fresh daily. We offer hearty meals that don't break the bank. Whether it be our delicious chicken pot pie, one of our many savory soups, or a pizza, you can't go wrong at R&K Variety. Looking for a drink after a long workday? R&K Variety is an agency liquor store with an impressive selection. R&K Variety, more than just a convenience store. We're your neighbor, chef, barista, and friend. Stop by today. When Blazing Trails located in Lincoln want to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Blazing Trails is Lincoln's #1 trusted dispensary, providing outstanding product and customer service to Eastern and Central Maine.
A new year and a new adventure with the perfect Chevy to take you anywhere. With pure power unleashed and future-forward technology. Because every mile matters and every path leads to new possibilities. Qualified Chevy lessees can get this 2025 Silverado for around $409 a month. Or current Chevy owners can get $5,000 total cash allowance.
Febreze. Hi, I use Febreze Fade Defy Plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release so it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And its refill reminder light means I'll never miss a day of freshness. Febreze Plug.
Saturday on Fox.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
The #1 seed and the best Lions team in history begin their run towards a crown.
Yeah, boy!
As Jared Goff leads Detroit.
Unbelievable!
Against Rookie of the Year favorite J.D. Daniels and the Commanders.
Touchdown!
The divisional playoffs. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Home of Super Bowl 59.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Maine is entering the fight against the raging wildfires wreaking havoc in Los Angeles County. 20 Maine firefighters have stepped up to help fight the flames in California, and one of them is Rich Bowden with the Augusta Fire Department. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard spoke with Bowden's chief.
You have to understand that when they're heading out, they make that choice to go for deployment. It's a personal choice for them. It's truly a sacrifice.
Chief Dave Groder of the Augusta Fire Department is talking about the recent deployment of 20 Maine firefighters and forest rangers to help assist with the Southern California wildfires. One of those members is Rich Bowden, a firefighter with Augusta since 2012 and a hotshot, which is a firefighter trained to deal with forest fires.
Rich has been out several times. Theo, who possibly could be going out this next round, he's been out 3 or 4 times. And they're sacrificing their own time away from families, away from the job.
Bowden is using his vacation days to help with the fire. In fact, Chief Groder says he wasn't aware of Bowden's decision to deploy until right before he left.
But you can only imagine that we are type A personalities and love the excitement. And to deal with something like that in that magnitude and being part of something like that, it builds for your own personal resume.
While Bowden is building skills for his own personal resume, Chief Groder says part of being a hotshot is sharing your skills with your department once you come home, because there are many differences between battling a wildfire and what they usually deal with in central Maine.
Weather is very unpredictable, especially when you have the valleys and stuff that they're dealing with out there, the ocean winds that they're talking, the Santa Ana winds that are 100 miles an hour. We don't see that stuff here. Structure fire, we have wind-driven fires, but we calculate that at a much lower speeds.
Overall, Chief Groder says he is proud of Bowdoin and all of his firefighters that volunteer to deploy to help those in need.
They're going above and beyond what we require of them, so they're doing it on their own. I get to tell that my members are out there assisting, like any department would, because there are other members from other departments that are doing the same thing.
In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A really selfless act there by Bowdoin. All right, moving on now, but along the same grain, over 400 Red Cross workers are supporting Californians as they deal with the devastation left by the wildfires. And yesterday, the Brewer American Legion's chaplain, Paul Miller, departed from the Bangor International Airport to do his part. This is Miller's second deployment with the Red Cross. He's also deployed for Hurricane Helene response efforts. Miller specializes in disaster spiritual care, which he says is a very important part of the recovery process. Because as he simply explains, people need people.
To each person is different. I became very close to the ones in North Carolina, to say the least. They're my friends. They're in need. So I know what's going to happen out there. And I know I got to be careful because one of the things they train us for is you can't take all their emotions upon yourself. I know I've been trained that way, and I know, and I think I'll be fine out there. When I get away from there coming back, I may not be.
Really poignant words by the chapel right there. He knows what he's doing, and we could all take some advice from him on that. Miller will be in California for at least 2 weeks, but may stay longer based on the needs of the area. A link to donate to the Red Cross can be found on our website, foxbangor.com. I can't imagine what it's like to be him to visit these disaster areas. I mean, the places that he visited in North Carolina, they still haven't fully recovered yet. And now he's on helping the next disaster victims. Really important work. All right, moving on again. FEMA estimates the damage from the wildfires will run into the billions. While it's still too early to begin rebuilding, we're taking a closer look at how homeowners insurance will play a key role in those efforts, and more specifically, how and why our rates could be affected here in Maine.
The California wildfires are just the latest in a string of natural disasters that could affect homeowners insurance rates in Maine.
The changing climate and all of the increasing frequency of storms and major disasters certainly has an effect on everybody's insurance rates.
Even though California is thousands of miles away, Maine Bureau of Insurance Superintendent Bob Carey says Maine residents could still feel the impact.
Insurers purchase what's called reinsurance, which is insurance for insurers. So for catastrophic cases like this, the insurance companies themselves will purchase reinsurance, and those are global. Those rates are set globally. So we're affected by that on the margins because insurance companies that operate in Maine purchase reinsurance from these global entities, and they're affected by having to pay claims now with running the billions of dollars in California.
Mainers we spoke with say rising rates are certainly a concern.
I mean, I wish it wasn't fair, but I do kind of see the insurance companies are, under a lot of stress right now, I'm sure.
There has to be some sort of security for homeowners. However, if homeowners choose to live in certain places that have natural disasters, they have to think about that pretty carefully.
Carey says there are steps homeowners can take to help keep their own costs down.
One of the chief reasons that insurers look to cancel someone's policy is that the house is in disrepair, there's a hole in the roof, or the roof needs to be replaced. That's a big issue here in Maine.
To keep your premium down, Carey also says you can increase your deductible and reach out to your agent to see if you qualify for any discounts. In Bangor, I'm Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Because I know everyone is jumping at their opportunity to increase their deductibles. The insurance companies around the United States have really been getting in the news lately. These past couple months, a lot of stuff going on. Okay, the time now is 8:19. After the break, the latest from Southern California. As of early this morning, the Santa Ana fires were 50% contained. We are following it closely, and there are still worries about wind speeds. We'll have the latest on that, plus our local forecast coming up on Good Morning Maine.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Driving the Nissan Rogue with Google built-in is like the perfect assist.
Hey Google, add basketball hoop to the shopping list.
See why it's been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 11 years in a row. Drive the award-winning Nissan Rogue today.
Now, get a low $289 per month lease on Rogue, one of 6 Nissan vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
It's the Furniture Gallery's anniversary sale. Celebrate with us and save big. Queen mattresses as low as $198. Want to recline? Recliners start at just $298. Or upgrade to a power recliner for just $398. Reclining sofa and recliner, just $998. The Furniture Gallery anniversary prices don't stop there. Refresh your living room. Sofas starting at just $448. Complete your bedroom, 5-piece set for only $898. Support our main family-owned business and save money. The Furniture Gallery.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Opa, a Greek Mediterranean dining experience like no other, serving the finest Greek dishes in central Maine. Let executive chef Gage Derbyshire prepare your food while you enjoy a drink. Opa! It's all Greek to me.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Now to Southern California. The Santa Ana winds are expected to return next week, so the race is on for crews to contain those 2 major wildfires. One of them is now at 55% contained, or at least as of early this morning. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has the latest.
This morning, at least 18 people remain missing in the Southern California fire zone. 2 new deaths confirmed, raising the toll to 27. A break in the winds allowing crews to gain ground on the flames, but new threats are emerging. This home was split in 2 by a landslide.
If you look right above it, you're going to see a lot of smoldering debris and things that have burned.
Authorities are reopening some areas for residents to return to. Linda Zhang went back to what's left of her home. She's staying in an Airbnb, struggling to find a new place to live.
So is everything you're wearing donated?
Yes, everything I'm wearing except my phone is donated.
Down to the purse and the shoes?
Down to the purse and the shoes, yeah, everything.
The fires damaged or destroyed at least 12,000 homes and other buildings, including 10 schools, as communities look to rebuild. Fire officials say they hope to finally enforce a zoning law, calling for homeowners to create a 5-foot zone around their house that's clear of vegetation.
The science is very clear that removing combustible material in its entirety from that space is highly correlated to reductions in structure loss.
With so many people having lost their insurance before the fires, law enforcement is reporting a rise in threats against insurance executives. But those in need are finding solace in the generosity of others.
When I heard about these fires, my heart just went out to the community because we've just lived it, and I just could not stay home.
Pastor Sarah Beckman knows what it's like to heal after a wildfire destroyed her community on Hawaii in 2023. So she decided to follow the aid group Mercy Chefs to Los Angeles. The group provides hot meals to those in need. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
I'm just still thinking about the Brewer chaplain who said he does it because people need people. Ugh, I love that message. It's so important in times like these. Okay, the time is now 8:24, and let's get a full look at that forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Gale watches are up along the coast and now will last until about 10 p.m. on Saturday. Expect this to get upgraded in the future with active surf that will be expected. Let's check in on the wave heights right now at around 1 to 2 feet according to the buoys right nearby. So we're calm at the moment, but don't expect this to last with active surf that will be making a return for the daytime tomorrow. For now on land, we have some clouds that are passing through, tracking from the west and going toward the east overall. As we zoom things out, a little bit of snow across the northeast, but for us, we will be staying dry today, but our turn for precipitation will be on the way soon. So let's get into things right now with Futurecast. So overall, a partly cloudy sky expected today. Later on tonight, we will have clouds moving in, so increasing clouds overnight. As we head towards your Saturday, most of it dry under a mostly cloudy sky, but then our next system begins to move in late in the day on Saturday, which will bring opportunities for rain and snow that will be moving in with temperatures that will be warm. We'll have snow to the north with rain chances to the south. This will last through early Sunday morning. Then once we head towards Sunday afternoon, this will be out of here. And then once we head towards parts of Sunday night and Monday, another system on the way that we'll have to watch. This one at this point looks to be all snow. So for now, let's talk about the first system. And to the north, maybe an inch or less of snow before we're all finished up. None to the south because it will mainly be as rain. But regarding rainfall or liquid equivalent of that, we're looking at maybe a quarter of an inch or less of rainfall overall before we're all finished up. So of course, we'll keep an eye on that. The winds will be increasing coming up, not today or tonight, but once we head towards tomorrow, gusty winds up to 25 to even 30 miles per hour will be a possibility. So be careful with that when you venture out. Average high is 28 degrees. We'll do upper 20s today, lower 40s as we head towards your Saturday, mid 30s Sunday. And then we're in the teens for a bit Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday, back in the low 20s as we head towards your Thursday. Forecast coming up for today, we have upper 20s, partly cloudy, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then by tonight, we have 14 degrees, increasing clouds on the way, and that south wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, lower 40s, mostly cloudy for most of the day. Rain and snow moving in late, with that south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast. So a slight chance for rain and snow Sunday morning, otherwise partly cloudy with highs in the mid-30s. Snow chances on Monday with highs in the upper teens, and lower teens for your Tuesday under a mostly sunny sky.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
When it's time to replace your windows or doors, get the benefits of over 75 years of experience in building product sales and service from Hammond Lumber Company. In-store showroom displays with the latest design trends from top manufacturers. Knowledgeable, fully trained salespeople and in-house design services. A team of certified techs providing service after the sale, and job site delivery from 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for new windows and doors, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
We've got an all-new game with a new way to play. It's Cash Pop from the Maine Lottery. You just pick one number from 1 to 15. If your number's drawn, you win. Just like that, with cash prizes up to $2,500 and 5 drawings every day. You gotta make it pop with Cash Pop.
Get this low mileage lease on this 2025 Cadillac Lyriq Luxury One for around $569 per month. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
Now to the debate over your taxes. The man President-elect Donald Trump has chosen to oversee the economy was asked, are the wealthy being allowed to get too wealthy thanks to tax cuts? Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
With President-elect Trump set to take office Monday, the taxes we pay are facing scrutiny as Trump's cabinet picks face confirmation hearings. Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent, a billionaire hedge fund manager, was grilled yesterday by Democrats who argue the ultra-rich are benefiting the most from the Trump tax cuts of 2017, which are likely to be extended in Trump's second term.
These tech billionaires are launching rockets into space and building themselves these lavish doomsday bunkers, buying up newspapers, all of which gives them more power. So what I want to ask you is, it seems to me that this concentration of wealth is not good for our country, and it is certainly not doing anything to lower prices for working families.
I believe that President Trump, and if confirmed myself, are committed to addressing this affordability crisis. And part of the affordability crisis stems from this great inflation that we've had.
Bessent was also asked about the trillion-dollar cost of Trump's tax cuts.
So while the benefit went to the richest people in America, the cost is being borne by the children of working people all over this country.
The top 50% of Americans now pay 98% of taxes.
Data shows more tax savings were given to the rich compared to the middle or lower class. And if the Trump tax cuts are extended, the highest income households will receive more than half of the benefits. Critics also questioning the influence of billionaires in the upcoming Trump administration, with at least 13 set to take on government positions. Bessent also said he's against raising the minimum wage, currently at $7.25 an hour, saying the issue should be left up to the states. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
A SpaceX rocket explodes shortly after launching, causing a light show across the sky. The Starship rocket broke apart on Thursday during its 7th test flight. The spacecraft's 6 engines shut down one by one. SpaceX owner Elon Musk says the spacecraft went into a, quote, rapid, unscheduled disassembly, kind of a fancy way of saying it broke. Parts of the spacecraft streaked across the skies on the island of Turks and Caicos, leaving behind a colorful stream of smoke. The spacecraft was attempting a near loop around the world. Fortunately, the booster made a great return drop into the landing tower's devices. No word on when that space junk will be retrieved. And this morning, the future of the popular social media app TikTok is up in the air. A ban is set to take place on Sunday unless the company cuts ties with its China-based company, ByteDance. Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington.
This morning, with the Supreme Court scheduled to issue one or more rare Friday opinions, court watchers are speculating that a ruling on the future of TikTok could come as early as today.
What am I supposed to do?
The justices are facing a Sunday deadline that Congress set last year when they passed a law requiring TikTok to cut ties with China over national security concerns or be banned in the U.S.
They said that they're going to take away TikTok.
The justices could issue a last-minute temporary injunction that pauses the ban while they weigh the case, or they could let the law stand and do nothing at all. Another possibility, President-elect Trump is now considering an executive order to try and circumvent the law, possibly delaying it for 60 to 90 days. But as ABC's Elizabeth Schulze explains, even that could be difficult.
Because at the end of the day, this ban is part of a bipartisan law that was passed through Congress. It would take a lot for the president to be able to overrule something that's already the law.
Trump originally tried to ban TikTok during his first term and even railed against it during the 2024 campaign, but changed course, later vowing to save the app. TikTok CEO is set to attend Trump's inauguration on Monday alongside other tech CEOs. Trump's incoming national security advisor shared his plans to keep the app from going dark.
He's a deal maker. I don't want to get ahead of our executive orders, but we're going to create the space to put that deal in place.
This week, a group of Democrats in the House and Senate introduced a bill that would have given TikTok's parent company an additional 270 days to sell or divest. However, Republican Senator Tom Cotton objected to it.
The law does say a president can delay the ban if TikTok is on a path to being sold by its Chinese owner, but there's no public evidence yet of that being the case. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And coming up on the second half of the newscast, the entertainment world is mourning the loss of director and filmmaker David Lynch. We'll have the details in our show business segment coming up on Good Morning Maine.
At US Cellular, you don't have to choose between a great phone and the right phone plan for you. You can get 4 free phones of your choice and 4 lines for just $90.
That's like us not having to choose between tickets to wrestling or that puppet musical.
Because you get both.
US Cellular, built for us. Poor insulation is the origin of your heating and cooling complications. We are Dr. Energy Saver by TC Hafford Basement Systems. We are the local energy saving experts. We identify the problem areas and provide customized solutions that leave your home comfortable and your energy bills affordable. Whether it's a drafty attic or poorly sealed ductwork, we have your back and more. Financing is available. For a no-cost, no-obligation estimate, call Dr. Energy Saver by TC Hafford Basement Systems. We fix uncomfortable homes.
Want to test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free?
Here we go.
Hey, I wonder if US Cellular lets me stream in my... Yep, it's working.
Download the US Cellular Tri-S app today.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith, and today is Friday, January 17th, 2025. It's also Kid Inventors Day. This day celebrates the creativity and ingenuity of young people all around the world. It may surprise you how many things we use every day that were made by kid inventors. They include things like earmuffs, popsicles, trampolines, and even Braille, and all sorts of other things as well. So, protect the kids in your life, even if you don't have kids yourself. They are so inventive, and they deserve to be allowed to be creative and explorative, and to just, explore and see what they can do and find out what they like. It's really important. Okay, moving on now for some history. On this day in 1773, Captain Cook's Resolution became the first ship to cross the Atlantic Circle, the Antarctic Circle. That makes a little more sense. I don't know if there is an Atlantic Circle. I don't think so. In 1929, the cartoon character Popeye made his first appearance in a comic strip called Thimble Theater. In 1950, robbers pulled off a historic robbery in Boston. 11 men stole more than $2 million from a Brinks armored car depot. It was the largest robbery in history until that point, and 8 of the suspects were arrested years later and were given life sentences. 2 others died before reaching trial. In 1994, the Northridge earthquake rocked Los Angeles, killing 54 people and causing billions of dollars in damage. And in 1995, the Los Angeles Rams announced they were moving the team to St. Louis. And in 1997, Ireland they legally granted a divorce for the first time. It wouldn't make sense to illegally grant it. It followed a referendum vote. The first divorce was granted to a terminally ill man who wished to marry his new partner. In 1998, President Bill Clinton gave his deposition in the Paula Jones sexual harassment lawsuit. He became the first president to testify as a defendant in a criminal or civil lawsuit. Today's birthdays include actor Jim Carrey, who is 63 years old today. He was a favorite of mine growing up. Actress Zooey Deschanel is 45. I still like the show New Girl, even though I don't think new episodes have come out for many years now. And former First Lady Michelle Obama is 61 years old today. All right, moving on. Today's pretty chilly. Tomorrow is warming up, however. We do have some possibly messy weather on the way. So let's get a look at that forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, happy Friday. We have a gale watch that is posted until 10 p.m. Saturday, so we'll see an upgrade in the future with gusty winds on the way that will cause the surf to get rather active. For now, not looking too bad. We have some clouds that are passing through, going from the west and going toward the east. These clouds will be breaking up later on today to reveal a good amount of sunshine. Let's zoom things out. The rest of the northeast not looking too bad. Again, we have clouds moving over the ocean now, and overall a little bit of snow across some parts of the northeast too, but for us, we will stay quiet today. So Futurecast, overall a partly cloudy sky. We'll watch for more clouds that will be on the way later on tonight. But for now, the winds not too bad. They'll stay rather calm today in the parts of tonight. But once we head towards tomorrow, gusty winds could reach up to around 25 to even 30 miles per hour at times. So for today, upper 20s on the way. Overall, a partly cloudy sky with the wind overall looking nice and calm. By tonight, we have 14 degrees, increasing clouds expected with that south wind at around 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have low 40s, mostly cloudy for most of the day. Rain and snow will be moving in late with that south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a lot of sunshine on the way with temperatures in the upper 20s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
And for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Raina Roy.
Steven Spielberg, Ron Howard, and Joe Russo among the filmmakers paying tribute to David Lynch following the visionary director's death Thursday at age 78. Spielberg saying the world is going to miss such an original and unique voice.
What you all did was one of the most painful moments in the history of this company.
After nearly 3 years, the Apple TV Plus series Severance is back for a second season. The first season of the bizarre and baffling show ended with a huge cliffhanger, and star Britt Lauer says people have definitely tried to pump the cast for details.
I think there's that moment that we've all experienced of like someone wanting to know and then saying immediately, but don't tell me anything. And I think that people want to be on the journey of mystery.
The storm's coming. Not one of this earth.
Outlander airs its season 7 finale tonight on Starz, followed by the premiere of the steamy relationship drama The Couple Next Door.
Don't think I haven't noticed the way you look at them.
Sam Heughan stars in both, but he says his new role is a lot different than his Outlander character, Jamie Fraser.
It's really interesting to play someone who's maybe more morally ambiguous and makes bad decisions.
Alrighty then. And actor Jim Carrey is 63 today, and that's what's happening in Hollywood. Rena Roy, ABC News.
All right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates. We'll be right back.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Incoming dishes! Doc! Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
Yeah, it absorbs grease 5 times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Ooh, those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
You bought your Toyota because Toyota is the longest lasting brand. You put your trust in Toyota's reputation for quality. Now put your trust in Toyota-trained certified technicians who install genuine Toyota parts to help keep your Toyota a Toyota. Get your Toyota ready for the year's coldest and harshest weather. See your New England Toyota dealer for affordable service offers. Trust the experts at Toyota Service Centers and keep your Toyota a Toyota.
R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store. With delicious homemade food made fresh daily. We offer hearty meals that don't break the bank. Whether it be our delicious chicken pot pie, one of our many savory soups, or a pizza, you can't go wrong at R&K Variety. Looking for a drink after a long workday? R&K Variety is an agency liquor store with an impressive selection. R&K Variety, more than just a convenience store. We're your neighbor, chef, barista, and friend. Stop by today.
We have 30,000 ways to thank our loyal fans.
Courtroom leader, the judge.
Win one of 3 $10,000 cash prizes.
You just won the game, guys!
It's the 30K Thanks Arama giveaway.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
The college basketball action tips off live on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We'll start on the hardwood, where the Maine women's squad hosted NJIT, and one Black Bear had a career night in more ways than one. NJIT unbeaten in conference play coming in. The Black Bears looking to get back on track. We picked this one up right at the tip-off. And it is going to be Madeline Doggs going to work for the Highlanders. She lays it in to open the scoring. Ensuing possession, Caroline Borneman's turn. She looks for a way to get the shot off. Eventually scoops it up and in from under the basket. Nice play from the senior. Shortly after, Alejandro Zuniga throws a dime to Marissa Gingrich to put the Highlanders back on top, but the Black Bears would never give the lead back up. Borneman gets the bucket and the foul. She had a career-high 34 points tonight, including this major milestone right here. Borneman sent to the line. That free throw makes it 1,000 career points for her. So a career-high 34, a career-high 6 assists to go with 13 boards and her 1,000th point. Here's what she had to say post-game.
No, I mean, it's great. It's great, and it's great to come out with a win. So, I mean, I don't really have many words right now, but I'm really happy with the team. Super proud of them all.
Let's move on to New Jersey now for the men's game. It's field trip day. A lot of school children on hand for the 11 a.m. tip in Newark. First half tie game here is where we'll start. Highlanders get the turnover, and they're going to turn it into some easy points. That's Tim Moore Jr. throwing down the windmill slam wide open on the fast break. Here comes Maine now before the half. Keelan Steele fights for the offensive board out to a wide open Kellen Tynes. He stays hot, hits the three to bring Maine within 2. Maine trailed by 3 at the break, but would open the second on fire. Keon Burns gets the steal out to Tynes to A.J. Lopez, and he slams home the dunk. Last minute now, Maine up 10. Offensive board out to Tynes to Lopez, who buries the open 3, and he shushes that crowd full of school children. Maine goes on to win 57-44. And that is their 3rd in a row. Let's pivot to some high school sports now. We'll take the ice at Sawyer Arena, where the John Baptist boys hockey team is having one of their best seasons in years. The Crusaders currently boast a 7-0 record after a 10-1 win over the Gardner Tigers this week. John Baptist put over 70 shots on net in that contest. They've outscored their opponents 33-4 through 7 games. Some impressive stats from the Crusaders, who say they live off of putting pucks on target and fighting to clean up those rebounds.
We harp on really going to the net a lot because we're a pretty small bench team, so got to make up for it, skate a lot, so we really harp on getting to the net more.
Just moving the puck around, getting a lot of shots on net and crashing the net. A lot of rebound goals, yeah. Whenever there's somebody in front, you just got to try and get a shot on net, try and see if they can bury a rebound.
In today's era of high school hockey, your teammates can be scattered across different towns, especially in Maine. And although the Crusaders are split between 4 schools, John Baptist, Herman, Bangor Christian, and Dare Isle Stonington, they say their chemistry is at the core of their early success.
Yeah, I think the off ice is where it's at, and we're just all so close off ice and just hanging out. Everybody's known each other for years, so I think that definitely helps.
With a small team, we're around each other a lot. We're always talking, and no bad blood on this team. We're all friends, we're all buddies.
Just knowing each other so well. We've been playing with each other for years. I actually played on travel teams with a lot of these guys, so that definitely helps.
Wishing them luck the rest of the way. Staying with some high school sports here, we'll get to a hoops game down in Bucksport for a Class B matchup. Foxcroft Academy Ponies making the trip to play the Golden Bucks in a Class B boys clash. First half is where we pick it up. Ponies up, Bucks clawing back. Nick Clare over to Jack Morrison, who pulls this one from the elbow and cashes in on the mid-range jumper. Second half, Beckham 8 has it for the Ponies, out to Lennon McAfee, to Lucas Sands, who pulls up from the corner, and he drains it, lets his bench know too. End of the third, Ponies up 15, but the Bucks didn't hear a bell. Colin McDougall pulls it from 3 at the horn and gets the hometown bounce. Fourth quarter now, and the Ponies would finish strong. Silas Topolsky inside to McAfee. He steps through and banks it home, and then off the inbound, Sands gets it from 8 and gets the shot to fall while fading away. Big game for the Ponies. They win 51-37. That is their 3rd straight win. For some other scores from around the area, Hamden Academy takes down Skowhegan in boys basketball 47-43, and the girls win 47-33. Orono girls pick up a big win at Skank 56-51, and then Central beats George Stevenson girls basketball 53-40. And congratulations to Mary Allen in that one. She had her 1,000th career point. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
We can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
and we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
Ghirardelli Intense Dark. Bold. Rich. Intensely delicious dark chocolate. Ghirardelli Intense Dark makes life a bite better.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Start to break away from UC with Tremfya, with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Tremfya blocks a key source of inflammation. At 1 year, many people experienced remission, and some saw 100% visible healing of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
When you shop Bob's everyday low prices, you never have to haggle to get the lowest price for the best features.
Honey, I want a tranquil farmhouse bedroom with built-in headboard lights, cedar and felt lined drawers, USB ports, and storage drawers in the bed, all for $1,800 less than other national retailers.
You drive a hard bargain. Aren't they adorbs? Shop Bob's everyday low prices and see how much you can save when you dare to compare at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm here with Sarah Lesko. She's the director of the Ellsworth Public Library, and they're busy as ever. I mean, you guys are always busy.
We are always busy. We
Yeah.
have an amazing staff that really puts a lot of creative stuff out there.
Yeah, I know. And Ellsworth is so busy these days. It's so fun, and there's always something to do.
There is, and hopefully you're coming to the library to find something to do.
Yeah, right?
Tomorrow, it's all about the kids.
Cool.
So we started a program this September called Reading Dragons.
Cool.
And this is really about encouraging kids to read by earning these fun, special, limited edition dragon cards.
Okay.
So they're playing cards.
Yep.
Kind of like Pokemon from when I was a kid, where
Right.
you would earn the cards and you play a game with them. So tomorrow we're having our first Reading Dragons tournament.
Cool.
So we'll launch a special limited edition tournament card. We'll have dragon-themed activities, and this is really perfect for elementary age kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, starting something here. I love that.
Yes, we want to keep kids reading.
Yes.
Get off the tablets.
I know.
Get off TikTok.
I know. And it is still like, people are still doing Pokemon and stuff like that. There's Pokemon Go on the phone, so
Yeah.
this is a great alternative.
Yes, and then also tomorrow we're doing an hour of code.
Cool.
So this is a nationwide program. If any of you have ever heard of it, it is really an introduction to computer science for kids, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
So we have a wonderful woman named Cecilia who has been working with Hour of Code for 10 years. She's a Trenton resident and has volunteered her time to come and run it for us.
Wow.
So it'll be a really great program.
I want to go.
Right, they're going to be
Do one for
coding
adults.
a dance party.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's
Very
cool.
fun.
Well, I think the message there is that anyone can code, and we need those people. We need more
Yeah,
coders.
we do.
So this is awesome. Okay.
Learn a new skill.
Yes. Cool.
Yes, but grown-ups, don't feel left out.
Okay.
This Thursday night, we're having our first ever evening of hygge.
Okay. What's this?
I know,
I don't know what hygge is.
What is hygge? So hygge is actually, it's a Danish word that really means embracing all things kind of cozy and comfortable and feeling connected to people.
Okay. I can do an evening of hygge.
Right? So this is all...
I do that all the time.
All about coziness this night. So
Yeah.
we're going to have games and puzzles and crafts, and it's a kind of low-key, just a time for people to feel connected.
Yeah.
We're also partnering with Farm Drop. The local online farmers market is going to be donating yummy local bread and cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, for
that's
snacks
generous.
for the night. It is.
Nothing more cozy than bread and cheese, too.
That's what we thought, right? Who doesn't want, and especially local, support our local farmers,
Yes.
try new products.
Sarah, we are running out of time, but I know that this isn't everything going on this
Oh,
month.
no, it's definitely not. Check out our website,
Yeah.
ellsworthlibrary.net. We also have our Friends of the Library Winter Cabin Fever book sale coming up next week.
Ooh, oh my gosh. Yeah, we love a book sale. We love it.
Yes, and all of the money from the book sale goes to support our amazing programs.
Yeah, which are just multiplying these days.
They really are. Every Saturday we have something going on for the next, well, every Saturday we have something going on. So if you're looking to get out and about on the weekend, check out our schedule.
It's cabin fever season. We all could use it. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll send it over to Devin Biggs for our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Gale watches are up along the coast and that will last until about 10 p.m. on Saturday. Expect this to get upgraded in the future with active surf that will be expected. Let's check in on the wave heights right now at around 1 to 2 feet according to the buoys right nearby. So we're calm at the moment, but don't expect this to last with active surf that will be making a return for the daytime tomorrow. For now on land, we have some clouds that are passing through, tracking from the west and going toward the east overall. As we zoom things out, a little bit of snow across the northeast, but for us, we will be staying dry today, but our turn for precipitation will be on the way soon. So let's get into things right now with Futurecast. So overall, a partly cloudy sky expected today. Later on tonight, we will have clouds moving in, so increasing clouds overnight. As we head towards your Saturday, most of it dry under a mostly cloudy sky, but then our next system begins to move in late in the day on Saturday, which will bring opportunities for rain and snow that will be moving in with temperatures that will be warm. We'll have snow to the north with rain chances to the south. This will last through early Sunday morning. Then once we head towards Sunday afternoon, this will be out of here. And then once we head towards parts of Sunday night and Monday, another system on the way that we'll have to watch. This one at this point looks to be all snow. So for now, let's talk about the first system. And to the north, maybe an inch or less of snow before we're all finished up. None to the south because it will mainly be as rain. But regarding rainfall or liquid equivalent of that, we're looking at maybe a quarter of an inch or less of rainfall overall before we're all finished up. So of course, we'll keep an eye on that. The winds will be increasing coming up, not today or tonight, but once we head towards tomorrow, gusty winds up to 25 to even 30 miles per hour will be a possibility. So be careful with that when you venture out. Average high is 28 degrees. We'll do upper 20s today, lower 40s as we head towards your Saturday, mid 30s Sunday. And then we're in the teens for a bit Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday, back in the low 20s as we head towards your Thursday. Forecast coming up for today, we have upper 20s, partly cloudy, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then by tonight, we have 14 degrees, increasing clouds on the way, and that south wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, lower 40s, mostly cloudy for most of the day. Rain and snow moving in late, with that south wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast. So a slight chance for rain and snow Sunday morning, otherwise partly cloudy with highs in the mid-30s. Snow chances on Monday with highs in the upper teens, and lower teens for your Tuesday under a mostly sunny sky.
What if you could whiten your teeth by simply brushing your teeth? Now you can with Smile Actives, the teeth whitening breakthrough that safely gets your teeth white and keeps them white every day, just by brushing your teeth.
I never thought that whitening my teeth could be so easy. I just put the gel on the brush, the toothpaste on it, brush, and I can see my white teeth.
Simply add Smile Actives to any toothpaste and our patented PolyClean technology activates into a powerful microfoam that penetrates into the enamel surface to safely lift and remove stains.
You need a simple way to whiten your teeth. Without strips, without trays, without going to the dentist. And it was about time that a product was developed that you would be able to do that with just brushing.
And now Smile Actives is even better with new Pro Whitening Gel with 33% greater whitening power, clinically shown to whiten teeth faster, up to 8 shades. 100% of users saw whiter teeth. On food stains, coffee and wine stains, even on veneers, crowns, and dentures.
I eat the blueberries, I drink the coffee, and I know that Smile Actives will keep my teeth white every day.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Why spend hundreds of dollars for whitening treatments at the dentist when now you can whiten your teeth with new Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel every time you brush your teeth? Call or go to smileactives.com and for a limited time get new Pro Whitening Gel for just $24.95. Order in the next 5 minutes and buy one, get one absolutely free for just $24.95. That's 2 for 1 and save 58%. We'll even include free shipping. Get your teeth whiter guaranteed or return it within 60 days for your money back.
I smile every day now.
The difference is literally night and day.
So now I'm always smiling, always choosing, because now my teeth are much whiter.
This offer is not available in stores, so call or click now before the special buy one, get one free offer goes away.
All right, finally now this morning, a mother dog stuns workers at a veterinary clinic in Turkey by carrying her unconscious puppy to their door looking for help. The female dog, named Mom by the veterinarians, arrived at their clinic door on Monday, clutching her lifeless puppy in her mouth. The vet tech initially thought the puppy was dead, but the veterinarian detected a faint heartbeat. He administered an adrenaline shot, then warmed up the puppy using a hairdryer. Mom remained nearby, occasionally checking in on her child. The veterinarian believes Mom may have known about the clinic by following members of the community who rescued her other puppy who had brought it there. Looks like a really tired mom right there and some really hungry puppies. Everybody looks a lot better now. If we could hold the video for when they get fed the dog food, because it really kind of cracks me up. Really hungry, but really not great with coordination. Really cute. I love this story. Oh, okay. Ending on a good note. I love it. All right, looks like we're about out of time for now. If you missed anything, you can head to foxbangor.com. It is a Friday, so of course, Good Morning Maine will be back on Monday at 6 a.m. Either way, though, I hope you have a great weekend.
Today on 25 Words or Less, he's the reason Leno wanted to take back The Tonight Show. It's Andy Richter! And joining Andy are high school friends Jennifer and Mary Stewart. She's the co-host of the Cheaties podcast, but what I'm really excited to see is how I introduce her 50 more times this season. It's Lace Larrabee! Joining her are returning champions married couple Brandon and Valeria. And now here's your host, Meredith Vieira!
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Lace. Funny lady Lace, you were a finalist on America's Got Talent.
Yes.
You came back to roast Simon Cowell, which is kind of a scary thing.
Yeah, well, he deserved it.
Yeah, he did. How do you feel about roasting people?
I love it. I think roasting is a love language. It definitely is in my family and amongst my friends, and yeah, I think it's great. You got to roast people.
Okay, can I be a
love 'em.
subject then?
Well, I do love you, Meredith, so
Go ahead.